Greetings. No. I'd rather shoot myself in the head. Um, so I'm doing it at this stupid time of day to annoy Malco because he hit me with his coiled leads. So there you go. Anyway, hope you're all well. This is my new little Marshall. Um, I'm delighted because in the little studio here, I mean, obviously, as you can probably tell, I'm a devotee of the Fender amp, the Blackface especially. I absolutely adore it. Um, there's a story behind why I do it that way, which, maybe tell in a bit. But crucially, in the studio, just in the same way as I wanted to, get a few guitars specifically for the studio sound, guitars I'll never use live. Um, I'm sorted for my live guitars and my studio guitars. I mean, I'm all sorted. But when I moved in here and started putting the studio together, it'd be nice to have the very specific um, tones, the very characterful tones that are kind of unique to certain guitars. So, I really wanted something along the lines of a Les Paul. I really wanted a Telecaster. I really wanted a traditional Stratocaster with the 3 single coils, and the trem, very vintage classic Strat. Um, a Floyd Rose guitar. They're heavy, an all-out heavy metal guitar. There was a few on the list, and I'm really happy to say there's only one on the list now. This is a hollow body, and I'd like a P90 guitar as well, and maybe I can roll that into one. Get a hollow body P90 guitar. In fact, the hollow body I do like, buying it new, does have P90s, but I prefer the Squire. I forget what it's called now. Starcaster. The basic Affinity Starcaster. Very good guitar for 250 quid, and that's a guitar that I keep. If I get like a 335 copy, and then later down the line I get an actual like Gibson 335, how likely is it that I'm going to really look at the copy ever again? Whereas with a Starcaster, with a slightly unique Fender construction, that's a bit different, and so it would sit in the collection and probably be played forever, no matter what. If I got like a top end 339, top end 335, or 345, or 355, and I'd love that, like a Birdland L5. I mean, I'd love a jazz box as well. I mean, it could go on forever, but you got to draw a line in the sand somewhere. And I've drawn my line in the sand, and really, yeah, it's just a hollow body. I've got my Floyd Rose. I haven't picked it up yet. Looking forward to meeting you, Mark, and doing that. And yeah, like, so after that really only leaves the oh hollow body. Now, an electric 12 string would be nice. These things, if I ever see them cheap and I've got the money, blah blah blah. But basically, yeah, it's done. I've done the studio guitar thing, with the exception of hollow body, and I'm amazed with that. Even more amazing than that, I thought, yeah, I've seen George Lynch's studio. I've seen, guitar studios have got a paint pot of amps, a palette of amps, like in the same way as you got the different guitars. And so I thought, yeah, I'd like to get an Orange, I'd like to get a Vox, I'd like to get a Marshall. And in 8 weeks, I've done that. Up there is my little baby Orange, which is brilliant. I mean, it's what I'll tell you. I'll show you something cool. I'll demo this another time, but I'll show you something really cool about this. It's the gain section. Now, the gain section is kind of a double. It's a kind of double gain section. Where are we? There. It's kind of so you can go all the way up with the overdrive, or all the way up with the gain, and they're two very different sounds. Like, you can go up evenly, or you see what I mean. There's a lot of room to play with there, and you know, there's you got your main volume, so it's like you can set a ceiling, and there's no clean channel either. It's not clean and dirty, and you can get quite a lot of volume out of this amp clean. And I was actually really surprised at how much I enjoyed the orange clean sound, which is a specific sound. I really bought it for the drive, and in many ways, I look at that amp as kind of a distortion pedal with a speaker on it. I know that sounds daft, but you know, I've recorded with it already, and it's a great little amp, and it's one of the few amps in here that I can wind all the way up and really get it driving. And it's a tiny little speaker, and it should just fart and hiss at you. No, it's a really full-bodied sound. Everybody that's reviewed one of those things has raved about it, and actually they're being fair. It's a really great amp for the money. It's not actually ideally suited as a sort of practice amp, which is kind of what it is. If you're like a beginner guitar player, it might be a mistake to get that, because it's actually more of a little, it really is a little orange. So it's short on the features that, you know, you'd like to see a beginner guitarist have. It's amazing. Just even a little bit of reverb, it can really encourage a beginner guitar player. Just that sort of sound is enough to make you want to play. And it's really only like, you know, tone maniacs and Puritans and tone mavericks like myself that love no reverb, nothing messing with the sounds, you know, no conditioning on the tone, just pure. I like that. I like a dry signal. I can't really do heavy metal any other way, actually, to get that percussive chugging and whatnot. But anyway, I got the orange, and then, as you probably remember, if any of you watched the Facebook live stream where I literally got it home and plugged it in and went live on Facebook and started messing with the sounds, I got this wonderful Vox. And this, I love this amp. I'm not sure that this isn't my favorite amp I own, even above my Champ, like, you know, my XD, my Super Champ XD there, which is a wow amp. I'm not sure, because there's nothing this thing can't do. And for recording, this is the best amp in the room by far. You know, it's absolutely noiseless. You switch it on, it makes no more, there's no more hum or fizz or no ambient white noise, nothing, even when it's like switched off. So switched on, it sounds like it does switched off. And now I've got the Marshall. So, you know, I already had the Fenders, a couple of other bits. I've got like that 90s thing there. Yeah, there, that 90s thing. I bought that by accident, also in the last 8 weeks. So yeah, in the last 8 weeks, 4 amps for the studio, and that's it. I'm done. It's like, you know, the Marshall was the last on the list. There was no particular order. I got the orange first, then the Vox, and then the Marshall, but there was no order. But I couldn't really make up my mind on what Marshall to get. And there's a story behind why I got that one. But let's have a little bit of music first. Let's just start the day. I've had a little noodle today, but I've only played for like 5 minutes, literally just warming the amp up and making sure the new pedals work. Oh, I'm in tune. What's the audio like? Is the audio any good? Because it was terrible last time. Who's out there then? I can see numbers. Thanks for fucking listening to everyone. Need to clip my fingernails. So, extremely gross, but I'm going to cut my fingernails. So yeah, I couldn't really make up my mind what Marshall to get. Obviously, I'm on a fairly tight budget. I'm on job seekers allowance as it goes, and I don't have any additional income from. And I pay the rent out of my own pocket. So I'm not the best off person in the world, but it still allows me around about 100 quid a month to spend on music gear, which is fine. That is ample. It annoys me to see the likes of Rob Chapman, who runs a guitar company, hitting his Patreon members e-begging to do his studio album. And I think, fuck you, Rob. Why do they need to pay for that? I tell you what, I'll do my studio album. I don't need nobody's fucking support. Be great, but like, I'm not going to ask you for it. Fuck that. If you want to do something in life, if you believe in it, then you fucking foot the bill, right? Don't be getting your bloody patrons to fucking pay for everything. I mean, it's something that I've tossed and turned about. Do I ask for support or do I not? Absolutely not. But then if somebody wants to support, why shouldn't they? Because it's great. If you actually support an artist and you help them out, it's a nice feeling. And it kind of invests you even more in their art. And I should allow that. So, but really, I think, if you want to help me out in any way, if you want to support me in any way, hit me in the comments, get in touch. You don't have to tell me what it is. If you want to send me a bag of plectrums, get in touch. I'll give you my address or a safe postal address or whatever. But yeah, I think I'm gonna, I don't think I'm ever going to ask in a structured way, because it's like, I love what I'm doing. Okay, I'll do it myself. It's been a tremendous joy and tremendously satisfying putting all this together on limited funds. How satisfying it is, that I managed to get all the amps I wanted. I managed to get most of the guitars I wanted. Like the guitar I'm about to pick up in a minute and demonstrate this Marshall is a Les Paul type guitar. Now, I paid 90 quid for it, and I might have overpaid, who knows? And it turns out to be an Axel, most likely an Axel. In fact, I think we know that it's an Axel now, which means that all the studio guitars I bought, 3 of them are Axels. The Telly, the Strat, and the Les Paul are all Axels, purely by chance. And they're a very good brand anyway. But, this Les Paul type guitar, don't want to call it a copy because it's not really a copy. It's very similar, but it's not quite a copy because that's not quite right. It's not exactly a Les Paul. But it's right in all the right ways. It's mahogany, it's set neck. I love the color. I love that it's a silver burst. You can see like how it's gone. Like you can see the aging where I've taken the poker chip off. You can see like how it's aged. The one who knocks Mr. White. Hello, bruv. Yeah, COILY leads. That's why I'm doing this. Malk finds it like objectionable and awkward that I should stream on a Tuesday morning. So I'm gonna fucking stream on a Tuesday morning as long as he's using his poxy COILY leads. And Chris Hodgson, get well soon, bruv. All right, I won't delay. So this is the little Marshall anyway, and it's a MG15 DFX. So it's a bit older than the modern ones. And the reason I got it is I heard Malco play it, and it sounded great. And actually, the new ones sound great. And I know you quite fancy buying it, Mr. White. And you know the reason? I'll tell you something. The reason I asked you what amp you had is to just make sure you had one. Because if you didn't have one, that thing there, I can live without that. I use it a lot, but, if it was someone that I liked, a good player, someone that, merited a bit of support, like they could have it. But so you know, I've seen that you're quite well equipped with amps. Um, but yeah, that will probably go to someone at some point. You know, it only cost me 25 quid. I've probably had 25 quid's worth of use out of it already. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure my mate Jim has definitely got. He's got a PV, but I'm gonna make sure he has, just in case he's not just telling me that. um, but yeah, anyway, MG15 DFX. So I think this is getting on for 10, 15, maybe 20 years old. I'm not sure. Um, it's at least 10 years old. I'm sure of that. And yeah, Malco made it sound great, and it's got some internal effects. So let's show you. Let's show you it a bit. So here we go. It's clean sound. This guitar doesn't sound particularly good clean. That's all right. You haven't missed anything, Mr. White. How is the one who listens, Mrs. White? She's a fan. I hear. That's great. Bless her and her shaky peg. Get it in the middle position, tones up. Right, so that's it, clean. I'm going to go into the dirty channel. Not going to stay there long. Now, I can't get the results Malco gets. To be honest, this is doing the things that I despise about Marshalls in its dirty tone. That was with a bit of woman tone, by the way. So now I'll show you the effects, and I've got to say the effects are lovely. This doesn't sound too bad, the dirty channel right now. But give me a minute. So let's go for a bit of reverb, and this is actually quite a nice reverb. It's not bad. It's a very digital reverb, but it's quite nice, and it's definitely different to any other reverb I have. So yeah. I love that upper harmonic. Oh. So that's your reverb. Not bad, eh? Now, I'm going to go back to the clean channel. Put the tone back up on the neck pickup. I do love that woman tone. Does it have a... No, it's a digital module, Mr. White. And it's got 4 effects on it. And yeah, it's all in a little digital module. It's actually a very digital sounding reverb, the way that it swells and the way that it decays. But in a sort of nice way, not in a bad way. But it's not smooth. It's quite kind of brutal and primitive. But yeah, check this out. I think this is a great. Well, so we're going back to clean, middle pickup. So, yeah, both pickups. going to turn the treble up a little bit. In fact, I'm going to turn the middle up a little bit as well, and just knock the edge off of the bass. So I had that set up for that gain sound. That gain didn't sound so bad, did it? It was a bit of a fizzy night. I'll get into that in a minute. Now, that is quite a nice delay. I like that. And I am quite snooty with effects, and I've got no real regard. Built-in amp effects, generally, on something like this, I've got no regard for them at all. It's not something I would use. But I will use these. When I record with this amp, I will probably use the internal effects because, you know, that will give me a good signal. So I'm just going to quickly demo the others. There's a bit of chorus here. There's a level for the effects, you'll notice. So like with the reverb, like it was just tweaked in. With the delay, it was wound all the way up. With the chorus, it's about noon. Again, and that's very much like the little stomp boxes that Marshall do. I had the chorus for a while. You know, the little silver jobbies, little aerodynamic looking things. Yeah, it's not so bad, is it? Oh, so what? Yeah, the little Vox Pathfinder. Yeah, but they've got a nice clean sound as well. So just stick it. I mean, I don't think the gain sound in this is, well, I'll show you in a minute. It's not bad though. So yeah, not bad. And finally, the flanger, which is an all-out flanger. So I'll tell you what, Mr. White, back to that gain sound. So I'm just going to do this a second. This is the overdrive, built-in overdrive. A bit of flange. Now, the gain is set to pretty much minimum. Yeah, the clean is really nice, isn't it? I think Marshall clean sounds are somewhat overlooked. It's a very, it's very there. You know, it's got like the percussive element. There's a sort of metallic sort of quality, quite glassy sort of sound. And yeah, I think it's a bit overlooked, the Marshall clean sound, but it's certainly all right on this amp. So you see, even with the gain on minimum, there's quite a lot. So let's start with nothing. But I don't know if you can hear that high end. It's not that pleasant, I have to say. Unusable. So yeah, it's a bit fizzy. Probably helpful if I tuned up. But anyway, so what I prefer down here and going into the clean channel is my new vintage overdrive boost pedal. It's a Michelangelo Battio signature pedal, and I had to repair it when it arrived because it's just a lot of hassle sending it back. But I did repair it fine, no problem at all. Just required a bit of a switch clean. And that's the old Mark 1 Governor, one of my pride and joy. Now, I'm in the clean channel. Let's just go just Governor, and that's better. Let's have some reverb. So I set the reverb at about 8 o'clock on the reverb section and 9 o'clock on the level section. Woman tone, obviously, so I've got the tone back right off on the neck pickup. So, Gary, hello mate, how you doing, bruv? Good to see you. I'm so glad there's a few people here. Thanks so much for joining me. So now this is the boost pedal. I've got it set to tube screamer mode. It is a tube screamer. AB'd it with my tube screamer. I wouldn't be able to, if you just put them in the link and out to here, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one it was. I honestly couldn't. So it's definitely the vintage overdrive section is definitely a TS808 clone. And as I normally do, now the options I have here, well, I can either stick the so I've got it in sort of 70s mode. I could either stick the governor up a bit, so I'll turn the gain up. This is where it likes to be honest. Okay, but I like to back it off about 11 o'clock, so you're getting what I call the Bon Jovi sound. I don't know why I call it that, because I mean it's like soft rock. It's like not, it's not like Slipknot. You know, it's my attempt at getting towards the JTM 45 sort of sound, although it doesn't sound anything like that. It sounds much more like an undercranked JTM 800. Anyway, the tube screamer is set with literally like a millimeter. It's up. It's like tweak a millimeter of drive. So you add that to the Bon Jovi Marshall thing, and now we're on a full bore sort of sound. Yeah, and that's the sound I like. I've been playing it the last few days, pretty much solid, because I'm trying out my new pedal, trying out my new amp, and it just so happens I put the two together here. But the Governor absolutely makes this. I think that is a much better sound than the built-in drive. This is the built-in drive again. I think I may be being a bit harsh on the built-in drive sound. It's not that bad, but it does have the characteristics that are perhaps least appreciated in the Marshall drive sound. It's got that sort of valve state, waspinner, bean tin aspect. But I've not done a bad job of dialing it out and getting it as pleasant as possible. But yeah, I much prefer Governor Tube Screamer. Just the Governor's the best in Washington. Now, quickly, one quick word on how to set up gain. If you listen to sort of really heavy bands like Slayer, let's take Slayer as a very specific example because they are well-known Marshall users. They don't set their gain so that it's like this. Now, what they do is they set it so it's like this. You should hear like almost a cleanness when you're chugging. You shouldn't be hearing like any spongy distortion. You should hear the strings. You should hear the steel of the strings and the twack. Okay, there should be a crunch there, but there shouldn't be any sponginess like this. Now, that lacks definition, totally lacks definition and dynamic, to my ear anyway. So if you actually listen to the Slayer sound, their gain isn't wound all the way up like you'd expect. They're actually, it's like a clean gain. It's like, and that, Metallica is similar, but it's like Slayer are a very good example because they're pure Marshall head. And you very much get this sort of thwack, a clean thwack, and it's when you palm mute. Now you shouldn't hear any sort of, you shouldn't hear any spongy distortion, and you should just have like a hard crack of a whip, like being beaten by a stick. What you don't want is this. It's a mush. It's absolutely mush with no definition at all. You know, that's my philosophy anyway. And thank you very much, Mr. White. You know, I think so. And Malco played it so nicely. I think he got a better brown sound out of it than I can. But that's why I bought it. And of course, it's a magic Mad Malco vetted amp, star of his YouTube videos. Look, come with a personal letter. Hey, Blacktooth, enjoy your new Marsnell. Because the H is broken. Rock on from Mad Malco. You know, he's a good guy. I like him a lot. And yep, he sent me a wicked little switch. I wanted, as you might have seen on another video, you know, I want to coil split the neck pickup of my blue LTD. Yeah, and he sent me this. He just bunged it in as well, which was kind of nice. But he'd give me a full instructions, I can imagine. But he sent like a little wiring diagram, an instruction sheet, the switch, and a little bit of patch wire, which is absolutely brilliant. So I'm just waiting for my soldering iron, and I'll be away. And I'm climbing into that. I'm climbing into the whole wiring my own pickups and things like that. You know, I've set up guitars for years, but I've never really done like electronic repairs, never really gone into that, and frets. So I'm learning about frets and repairing frets and replacing frets and electronics too. And I'll do the work on my own guitars first, and then Mark, if you're watching, yeah, I'm going to help you out as well. And I think actually, Mark, your sort of suggestions of the deal was what tipped me over the edge. But yeah, that's absolutely okay. So what do we think with single coils? Well, let's have a little look. I decided this guitar I'm going to spend money on. I'm going to spend money on this guitar. I'm going to get a proper telly neck. This is off of a J&D Strat. And it's not like I did the old density trick that I was telling you all the other day. And it doesn't do very well in that. It's not a bad neck, but it's, you know, I would like, you know, so I would like a telly headstock on this with a maple board. Try and take it back to what it was. Now that I've discovered that it's an 80s Cort and that it's actually got some sort of very interesting like provenance and value, somebody's really fucked with it because it wasn't, you know, it's been distressed probably naturally, and then they've covered it like in a layer, as you can see. And that's a bit odd. It's got a sort of odd distressing. I'm not keen on distressing. I like distressing it myself. Malco's a fucking great dude, isn't he? Let's go clean first. I'll tell you what, clean with a bit of delay, because that was lush earlier. I'm really impressed actually with how good the delay is on this, and the delay and the reverb in particular. Well, they're all good effects, but the delay in particular I really like. So. Do you know what? I just had an idea. Play this with a genuine. Check this out. I should have done this with the gain stuff, really, but fuck it. This is a genuine Yannick Gers Tour Plectrum, which I won in an internet competition. I've used this for doing a solo, and it's kind of cool. It's like I'm going to use Yannick Gers Plectrum to do a solo. What's the audio quality like? Last stream was really laggy and awful. I don't know what, you know. Just gonna go with just a tube screamer. Thanks, Mr. White. So that's the Yannick Gers plectrum. so you've had a demo of that as well. But I love this thing. It was great. It was great. It won it from. It had to be sent all the way from California. No funny. From these total Van Halen maniacs. Fruitcake Tony is the channel. Check it out. Very, very good. And if I can win an Iron Maiden plectrum, so can you. I think they do a show called Show Us Your Plectrum like once a week, and there's the story of a particular tour. This guy's been to so many gigs, and like he gets the plectrums like slap and sniff. Hello, bro. Oh, I've got the Malco crew in today. But yeah, that sounds like a tube screamer to me, and that is the Tom's Line Engineering, quite nicely built little pedal. Slap and sniff. You've been watching my old vids. It's funny because I haven't seen them for years and years. Like, I said I like the spit, and I thought, I wonder what that's referring to. And I had to watch a video, and it was quite disgusting. So I take like a mouthful of tea. I'll do right now, but this is a nice cappuccino with fucking Sassenach that I am. And obviously there's a fly in it or something. I spat it well all over the floor. It's disgusting. So yeah. Back to the governor. So yeah, it sounds all right with a single coil too. And that's about it really. So like that's the Marshall. Like I waffled away at the beginning, I think Mr. White and Mr. Slap and Sniff might have missed it. My professor taught Yannick P back in Hart. Oh, Yannick Gers. Took me a little while there, Chris. I hope you're feeling better, Chris. That's a terrible quinsey's a terrible fucking condition. And I can't believe what you told me about that pocket. It's crazy. It's like I looked on the internet and I couldn't find anything about that. I couldn't find a goddamn thing. So count yourself as even more unique than I already thought you were. But yeah, just to quickly recap, Slap and Sniff and Mr. White, I was banging on about how glad I am, the economic, I'm on job seekers allowance. I could claim the sick. I probably will. In all fairness, it's like I have a bit of an old-fashioned outlook on benefits, and it's like I'm not going to just bang them for all I can get. It's like I'm happy enough. I cover my, I can spend £100 a month, sometimes more. Sometimes I spend 150. Even though I pay the rent here out of my own pocket. It is, I still have at least, I can do £100 a month easy, but that's been with the COVID bonus, which is going down. So I might actually claim the sick benefits that I can easily get because of the emphysema, the angina, recovering drug addict. I just haven't bothered trying because I'm quite content where I am. But anyway, I was saying that like it's been great. In 8 weeks, I bought the little orange, which I talked about a little bit at the beginning. I bought the Vox, which is bloody marvelous, Sam, and the little Marshall in 8 weeks. And it's like all part of getting the palette of paints, the studio sounds, and it really does look like a guitar studio in here now. A bit excited. I've got this bloody Marshall's the straw that's broken the camel's back, so I've got nowhere to like logically put it. But then I've got a mixing desk and a new 16-channel digital recorder and a fucking great big Line 6 floor unit coming soon. So I've got to work something out anyway. So I'll work it out today or tomorrow or the next day or whatever. But I'm immensely pleased that I've been able to get these things together so quickly and easily. And yeah, I couldn't decide what to do as regards the Marshall amp. Kind of felt that like the MG that I fancied was a bit overpriced. So I was going to get the plain Jane one because that was the only one that was sort of sensibly priced, and that has nothing to it, has no reverb, nothing. And I felt like 130 was a bit steep for the little 15 watt that has the effects on board. And as I say, I don't really have a very great view of onboard effects on amps. So yeah, and the one with the reverb, again, it's overpriced. And so I was going to get the plain Jane one. I thought, see if one crops up secondhand is rather than spend that. And yeah, bless you, Chris. You go do that, mate. You chill. If you got a gig on Saturday, rest up. Slowly accelerate your activities. Don't overdo it, and get back to strength, man. And I wish you so well. And I'll speak to you soon, my brother. and your Yamaha's safe. Yamaha's safe. It's there, lovely and safe. Tuned to Open G right now, and occasionally playing slide. But I can't remember. Yeah, but yeah, I can't remember what the fuck I was talking about now. So I think that'll do it. Oh yeah, I was going to say I'm going to decide this is definitely worth spending money on. I'm going to find me a nice Telecaster neck. And much as I like this Heath Robinson job, this stacked Stratocaster pickup that's been made at home and put on it, it's got, like, I'll show you it when I take it out. Someone's literally used tin snips and snipped a copper base plate and mounted a Strat pickup on that and used bloody fucking Yoo-hoo and God knows what. It's not a bad pickup set, but I want a more traditional telly set, and I want to go for like a humbucker here and a humbucker here. You know, you see the new like there's a new Telecaster out from Squire, and it's got like little hot rails on both. I want a hot rails or a little Jeff Beck style pickup for that. Get the searing sort of little humbucker sound out of this guitar, and a proper Telecaster neck. I think there's been too much routing and fuckery to put a clear scratch plate on, like what they originally had. These originally had like a clear scratch plate showing off all the paisley, but I don't think I'm going to get away with that. It strikes me that a tortoiseshell guard will sort of like match right in there, but I kind of, the black goes, it gives it a yin and yang look with my black Telecaster, which has the tortoiseshell plate. They kind of look like the yin and yang of each other. So, but yeah, really, yeah, I'm gonna spend the money on this one. It cost me less than 100 quid. They get like the quartz in good nicks again, sort of nearly 500 quid. It's made in Japan, 80s guitar. So yeah, I'm just gonna get a nice telly neck, and I'll spend up to a couple of hundred quid on this, I think. Like, of all the guitars I own, I think this one is probably the one meriting the most money spent on it. So I'm on the lookout for a nice pickup set. You know, I don't know what to get on that. We'll see. But like I say, I want to get like this hot rails business, maybe, because I do like the traditional, like telly pickups. You know, the ones wax potted with the string winding around. You know, classic. And my studio telly, which I'm keeping exactly as it has got these EMGs on it, which are a little bit modern sounding. They're very clean, but they lack. They've got all the bite and all the attack of a telly pickup, but they lack. There's a certain woodiness and warmth that they don't quite have. But I like them. They're great. That is, it's a wonderful sound for clean. But yeah, that is the plan. You know, the other Telecaster, I'm not going to spend a fucking penny on it. So it's funny how these things work out, because they both cost me roughly the same amount to buy. The Les Paul, all I'm going to do, well, I'm going to gut that probably with all the electronics, because the pickups are dog shit on that, and yet it still sounds great. The orange thing, which is my favorite guitar, you know, like I'm gonna do a video soon saying, why is this POS my favorite guitar? I mean, this is a piece of shit, but it's absolutely my favorite guitar. But I've pretty much made all the changes I want to make to it, added some white to it, set it off a bit, you know, giving it a bit of an aesthetic. But I'm not spending a penny on that. You know, and the telly and the Strat, the axles, these two, not spending fuck all on them. They sound perfect exactly as they are. All I'm going to do is maintain them nicely. The Strat, I might give it a nice scratch plate. Apart from that, you know, and I might, when I do a string change later on, I've got a set of strings for this, I might just put a black cover on the bridge coil just for the giggle. In fact, yeah, look, I've got it already. Look, I've got it already. But I might change the scratch plate at some point. But apart from that, it's staying as it is. There's not even a fucking machine head on that needs changing. And it's funny because some are like that. Some guitars are like that. Why is it through the bridge like that? What do you mean? Which guitar? Do you mean this one? Why is it through the bridge like that? Which guitar do you mean, Slap and Sniff? And I'll tell you. This one actually put really nice saddles on here. These are 80s Japanese as well. Oh, what, the pickup? What, on a Telecaster? That's a very normal thing. That's like what makes a Telecaster really, is that they directly mount the pickup to the bridge. But that is very much a Telecaster thing. As you see, yeah, like I said, it's kind of what makes them unique. It gives them a very biting sound. But yeah, this one's got the more ashtray bridge, so it's got like bits at the side. But yeah, that is a thing that is absolutely a big character trait of Telecasters. This one here, oh, the neck has gone. I can't rescue the neck back. This was my gigging guitar for a bit, but yeah, they're all the same. Like the pickup is connected by 3 screws. It's on like a triangular plate, so you can move it sort of fore and aft and side to side, and it's directly mounted to the bridge. Yeah, I mean, this was the first electric guitar on the market. Leo Fender's design, and I think that this pickup being mounted to the bridge is very much what makes a Telecaster and gives it that really blistering, top end, which, quite often if you listen to it on its own, it's like almost bloody painful. But then when you're with a band, it cuts right through the mix. It's one of the only sounds live that cuts right through the mix. And that's why to this day, this sort of guitar that has a lot of wasted fucking real estate on it, really, when you think about, there's a lot of wood and it's, it's not contoured. It's very simple. What the fuck, it's got like 2 single chords, a lot of space that isn't being used, right? Very primitive guitar. And yet it's still the most popular guitar on the market, pretty much. One of the most. It absolutely works live. It's certainly one of the guitars that you'll see most out on a circuit. The Telecaster, they just work live. Yeah, I don't think there's really anything comparable in the bass world either. I mean, it's like those first beautiful Precisions that had the Telecaster headstock. That's one of my favorite basses. Yeah, I think even they didn't even have the pickup attached to the bridge. You're right, it is. It's very, if you're not into guitars, I guess that is a very unusual feature. You don't really see it on anything else. But I find it amazing to this day that, the first 3 guitars that were really invented, your Strat, your Tele, then you Les Paul, then your Strat. Those first 3 are still, that is the fucking holy trinity of guitar tone now. Like they were the 3 main tones, the 3 primary colors that I had to get, in my mind, as for the studio here, for recording sounds. And I find that amazing that, no one's really ever fucking bettered it or made a more distinct, characterful sound to join that lot. And massive credit to Leo Fender for doing that. But yeah, the bridge with the pickup in it can create sort of feedback problems. But again, it's one of the few guitars that just will cut through the mix and absolutely sound wonderful live. I mean, yeah, that one there, well, that guitar there that I just showed you, the blue one, that's another good reason for me getting a nice neck that I like for this and spending the money. So I can take the neck off of that and put it on that, so I can get the blue one up and running and have that as a slide guitar. Slap and Sniff, I'm delighted. But yeah, always welcome to ask. I love it when someone asks a question, to be honest. There's nothing I like more than just talking shit about guitars. I'll be honest. I'm living here in the New Forest now, and I love it. I mean, look out my window, man. Look out my window. Look. All you can see is trees. And I love it here. I absolutely love it. But I moved up here on the 23rd of March, the day of lockdown. So I moved up here like 18 months ago or whatever, and it was lockdown, so I haven't had the opportunity to make friends here. Nothing. It's been studio, straight away. You've never owned a Telecaster, Mr. White? Well, they're an easy guitar to find and get a good deal on. For some reason, not so much up in Scotland, according to Malco, but down here, there's Telecasters right now, I think, in the furniture shop that I get most of my guitars from. Although not lately, because I've been buying like amps and studio gear. But yeah, Telecasters are. Yeah, you should. You know, it's one of those. I think it's one of those fundamental tones. And if you've never owned a Telecaster, Mr. White, I absolutely wholeheartedly recommend it, because it's a no bullshit guitar. It's a guitar that's just like no bullshit. It's like it's got a real sound of its own, and it's like you can get very much into like a blues frame of mind, and all of the nonsense. It's just an amp and a telly. I tell you what, one of the best sounds you'll ever get is just a Vox AC30 and a telly. It's one of my absolute faves. You live alone in South Carolina in the woods. Well, I'm not in the woods, but I'm in some woods. But I am in the New Forest, and the New Forest is a beautiful part of the UK. But yeah, I moved here and fucking straight into lockdown, no friends, nothing. So, but I like that. You know, it's like it's good. You know, I've been able to focus on the recording and stuff. I was going to sneak peek a bit of recording today, but I'll save that for another time, because I should do this more. I've been a bit lazy with videos lately. But in all honesty, I love playing, and I play all day, and it's like, you know, I'd rather get on with playing. Sometimes it's like I'd rather get on with playing, because YouTube is a bit, you know what YouTubers are like generally. Although people like Malco, so authentic and genuine, down to earth, you know, they fucking make it worthwhile. And as you say, Slap and Sniff, we learn things, you know, pretty much every time we come on. Like, you know, we pick up something. But yeah, there's nothing I like more than just sitting and talking shit about guitars. And of course, because I moved up here and it was locked down instantly, I haven't had that much opportunity to do it. So doing stuff like this, I like it. But yeah, South Carolina. Wow. I think I only really know it from films and stuff, you know. But yeah, I'd love to visit that part, you know, that whole quadrant of the states, sort of New York and down. Yeah, I'd love to visit, you know, like the Blue Mountains, you know, Virginia, Maryland. I'd love to, Georgia. But yeah. All right, well, I'm going to knock it on the head, and fucking thanks so much for joining me, you guys. It's good to see you. And yeah, I'll do. I haven't got a regular schedule worked out yet. It's like I'm only really getting stronger now. This fucking angina has been kicking my ass, and yeah, like I had a bloody angina attack on a stream a couple of months ago, and it really fucking frightened me off of doing streams if I feel even slightly fucking. But I am feeling much better at, like, touch wood. You know, I've had no angina attacks for some time. So, but yeah, fucking delighted that you could catch me here. I'm gonna do a guitar lesson soon. So if you want to learn some finger picking techniques, look out for those. And there'll be videos coming soon that won't be live, that will have, hopefully, a better production quality. But I'm glad the audio's been all right. Thanks so much, Mr. White. And thanks so much, Slap and Sniff, Gary, Chris. Thanks for joining me. And fucking, yeah, love you guys. And I'll, if I don't see you before, I expect I'll see you around Malco's gaff and sup in the old Bucky. Have you seen his new Bucky caster video yet? He's done a nice telecast. Actually, he's done a nice telecaster, Mr. White. Nice British Racing Green. And I know he's deciding whether he's going to sell it or keep it or what. But that's a nice telecaster that he's done. Yeah. Anyway, fucking love you to bits. Fucking stay heavy out there. Stay safe in all that crazy bullshit. look after yourselves, and big love from little old England. And yeah, the heart of the New Forest.